What's up, everybody, and welcome to SLC Puck! Woo! We are recording this late in the evening of December 18th, 2024, and the Utah Hockey Club just gave us an early Christmas gift, a true present, something from the heart, something unforgettable. Ryan Smith himself, he also gave a great gift to about 2,000 new hockey fans. It kind of makes me wonder, was this scripted, the way things played out tonight? Obviously, I'm talking just minutes after the Utah Hockey Club defeated the Vancouver Canucks at home at the Delta Center. A big game with potential playoff implications. 3-2 overtime victory. Hey, I'm your host, Austin Facer. Thanks for joining me on a special, I guess it's not so special, it's just the typical midweek episode of SLC Puck, but it feels special. I have the jitters right now. I feel very invigorated. I feel very alive, and I think it's partially because I'm wearing a brand new hoodie, and it's a hoodie that you can get at slcpuck.shop. It's a great way to support the show. Here's the hoodie right here. I named it a very nice hoodie. I am incredibly creative. Oh, there we go. I need to get new software protection. And there's last week's episode. Okay, see, we're doing this all on the fly, and it's late in the evening. I don't want to go back and do this again. So go to slcpuck.shop, get the hoodie. It looks cool. Someone at the game complimented me on it. I was at the arena. I witnessed the entirety of this incredible overtime victory wearing this hoodie. Is the hoodie to thank for this? I think at least partially, right? I think it certainly didn't hurt. So if you want to be a part of the next big win for the Utah Hockey Club, I'd recommend getting one of these hoodies. Someone, like I said, someone very nicely came up to me and said, "I really like your hoodie." And then it took him a second. He went, "Oh, you're Austin." And I'm like, "I am Austin, yeah." And he said he liked the show. So to that gentleman, very nice of you to come say hi. I always appreciate you guys saying hi to me at the games. That's always a lot of fun. But man, it was a lot of fun being at this game, being at the Delta Center tonight, and I have to give thanks to the man responsible for getting me there, Ryan Smith, who gave away about 2,000 obstructed view seats. They were the single goal view seats, but I was in the building for this big matchup. I was there with my mother, my sister, my nephew Kevin. We had a great time together. Kevin got a little tired and left before the third period, so he missed the best part of the game, but I'm excited to tell him all about it tomorrow when he wakes up. But it was truly a really crazy, fun game. And I said this early in the season. I said this when Utah got off to their really hot start. They started the season 3-0. They won their first game, a magical evening at the Delta Center on October 8th, an evening in which the second snowfall of the year occurred in the Salt Lake Valley. The first happened here in SLC Puck Studios, as you might remember. But this, again, was tonight, December 18th, special night. A few hours before puck drop, Ryan tweeted out, he's like, "Hey, I know there are probably a lot of people out there who still haven't been to a hockey game yet. We're just going to give the tickets away. These single goal view seats, we usually leave them open anyway. We donate them to charities, or we give them to people who have subscribed to SEG Media. That's their little perk, right? Which, by the way, you should subscribe to SEG Plus. Nash casts are coming back in January. I said last episode that our next one was going to be this weekend. It's been postponed. We're going to have a few for you in January. So make sure you get subscribed to SEG Plus and Utah Hockey Club Plus to check out the Nash cast with myself and Tyson Nash, who I saw tonight, by the way. Yeah, he looked great. He shaved his beard or his mustache, but he looked very dashing. Anyway, so Ryan tweets it out. Hey, if you want to go to a game, here's the link. First come, first serve. Sammy dutifully jumped on it, grabbed us 4 tickets all together. We got to the game, went and had a great time. The view, we only saw one goal, but I believe we were sitting in such a way that I was able to see both of Utah's third period goals, but then missed the overtime goal. But I still felt the excitement in the arena. I think everybody in the Delta Center did. So, was that genius marketing on Ryan's part? Is this scripted? Is Hollywood back in the mix on this, writing something up? Because it feels kind of weird. I don't know how to explain what's happening with the Utah Hockey Club. What they're putting together is Hollywood-esque. It's like a fantasy. It's a feel-good movie. It's the conclusion of the Shawshank Redemption. It's as exciting as The Dark Knight Rises, or just The Dark Knight, I guess. I think that one was better. But it's so fun to see what's happening with this Utah Hockey Club, and the stretch they're playing in right now is actually much better than the stretch they played in to begin the season. And it's really cool. So let me just give you some quick notes. And these are notes that I got in the car. I was talking into my notes app while listening to Adrian Denny on the radio on the way over. So forgive me if I mess any of these up. It's Siri's fault, okay? So Siri did not made these errors, not me. I spoke perfectly into the phone, like just the same way I speak perfectly into this microphone, as you guys know. But Utah, over its last 10 games, is 7-1-2. We're now 31 games into the first season, the inaugural season. It's already feeling like a magical season. Utah right now has a 15-11-5 record. Let's look at the standings. This is where I get really excited because this game had big-time playoff implications. I tweeted this out before the game. You know, I love going to moneypuck.com. That's kind of my go-to resource. I was even looking at moneypuck.com while I was in the arena just to sort of, get a better feel for, the momentum of the game. I think Money Puck is the best possible resource for that while you're watching a game. I know a lot of people like to have ESPN Gamecast on their second screen. I recommend ESPN Money Puck. I think it's much better. But we're going to go to ESPN anyway right now. So let's jump over to our second screen. And we can see here in the playoff race right here in the Western Conference, obviously just a reminder, two divisions in each conference. The top three teams in each conference are in, and then two wild cards. The two teams in the top two teams outside of those six with the best records end up being the wild card teams. And as you can see right here, the team right now who has the top wild card spot, that's the Vancouver Canucks. And not far behind is the Utah Hockey Club, which set the stage for this to be a very, very, very important Wednesday night matchup for the Utah Hockey Club. They really needed to get some points against the Vancouver Canucks to be able to be in a position to claw their way into the playoffs when that rolls around in the spring. Because every point's going to matter. It really is. And yes, we did concede a point to Vancouver by allowing the game to go into overtime. Vancouver gets the 1 point for an overtime loss. But the Utah Hockey Club got 2. And I think that one point differential could be a huge difference. I think, these are teams that we're going to have to jostle for right now. But here's the cool thing right now, and I'll go back to Money Puck, and I'll go back to other places here in just a bit. Let me just pull this up for you guys. Again, you're seeing this all on the fly here. Money Puck's playoff odds here. Let's see how we're doing. I'm not sure if this has been updated. This was updated Wednesday morning, so this was updated this morning. We'll see what it looks like when this gets updated tomorrow morning. Again, you're probably going to listen to this on the 19th, on Thursday, on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, KSL.com. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. But let's go. This is what the standings said, the playoff probabilities said this morning, right? So we see all these teams, right? Look at this nice dark blue color, right? These teams that are in the 90s, right? There's Washington, New Jersey, Carolina, Vegas, Tampa Bay, the Los Angeles Kings, Edmonton Oilers, Dallas Stars, Florida Panthers, Toronto Maple Leafs, all the preseason media darlings, right? And then we get the teams that are kind of overachieving, the Minnesota Wild, the Winnipeg Jets, the Colorado Avalanche, right? They started real slow, but they've kind of been coming back in a big way. I believe Utah beat them pretty handily the other night, which was pretty cool. That was a pretty crucial win as well. And I'll just add another note that I got from Adrian Denny listening on the radio. Utah is now undefeated in regulation over its last 6 games. I believe they're 5-0-1 over the last 6 games. That has been crucial for getting them in the position that they're in right now. You can see this on my screen. As of this morning, again, the 18th, you're probably going to listen to this on the 19th. The odds should go up. Utah has a 71.9% chance of making the playoffs, according to moneypuck.com. So crazy swing of events. There was a little bit of a slump for Utah right after that 3-game stretch. I remember saying, is this scripted early on? And then I quickly reversed course and said, no, it's not. It's going terribly. The power play is slumping. Guys aren't finding the back of the net. the offense is stagnant, and that's not the case anymore. And it's really fun. It's exciting to see. And I am convinced, as I said just a moment ago, that Hollywood has gotten off their high horse. Maybe the writers were on strike. That was kind of a thing last year, right? I think the writers were on a little bit of a hockey writing streak, and now they're back. They reconciled things with the Screen Actors Guild of, sports or whatever, and they're back, and it's fun to see. And again, if you're Ryan Smith and you're seeing tonight's game as an opportunity to sell the Utah Hockey Club to people who have never seen a hockey game before, this could not have gone better. It's crazy. It's nuts. This was an important game. It'll have playoff implications. It was a come-from-behind victory that featured 2 Utah goals in the last 11 minutes. The first by the captain, Clayton Keller. The second by the young prodigy, the guy who will be the future superstar, the face of the franchise. He signed a $56 million contract extension this summer. Dylan Guenther scored from downtown, top of the circle, just inside the blue line on a power play. And then the game goes into overtime. And the guy who I have called the team's MVP so far this season, and I'm right, and he's proving me right more and more, Mikhail Sergachev scores the overtime winner. I believe Adrian Denny dropped this note. He scored 4 game-winning goals this season already. He is really making the most of his opportunity to be a number 1 defenseman. Remember, Utah acquired him in a trade with Tampa Bay on draft night this summer. We're only 11 minutes into this podcast, and I feel like I've gotten a ton of information in. I feel like I've talked so fast, I can hardly catch my breath, but that's how excited I was to see this game. Again, hats off to you, Ryan Smith. I'm going to take my snowman hat off and salute you, because this was marketing genius, and the timing just couldn't be better. And I was thinking about this. They made this announcement in the arena. They're like, hey, there's our Learn to Play program where gear is provided. The registration closes December 20th. You can bet your butt that they have sold more than a couple spots in this Learn to Play program thanks to a performance like tonight. Hey, free tickets. Here's hockey. Oh, you brought your kid with you. He likes hockey now. Of course he does. He just saw a great game. Let's get him on the ice. Bada bing, bada boom. Cha-ching. Future season ticket holder. Brilliant move, Ryan Smith. Absolutely genius. Again, I don't know how this got scripted, but it was truly masterful. And it kind of just, again, I've been talking a lot. You know the show. The show is just me rambling into a microphone. On occasion, I have guests. I was so happy to hear from my good buddy Eric Jensen, who joined me last week after the Avalanche game for a post-game show. Eric was brilliant, by the way. I've got to get him more involved, and I will, on these post-game analysis. He does a great job of breaking down the entire NHL as a whole, and he sees the game really well, and I love that dude a lot. He's my good homie. So we'll get Eric involved more, but I also want to get you guys as an audience more involved with the show. So you'll probably see this right here in the top, I guess, right corner. If you're watching this on YouTube or KSL.com or whatever, if you're listening to this on Apple or Spotify, you don't know. I'm pointing at something in the air. What I'm referring to is a brand new innovation to SLC Puck, the podcast. Okay, we're on the forefront of the latest and greatest technologies. Our research and development teams have been working around the clock on this new innovation. I said to them, I went down to the sweatshop and I said, listen, guys, you find a way to get more people involved in the show or you're done for. And they cooked up something really special, and I'm proud of these guys for what they did. I'm kidding, of course. This is just an idea I had. But I would love to hear you guys call into the show, be involved. I've created the SLC Puck hotline. It's a place where you can call in, give your hot takes, give me a chirp, tell me how great I'm doing, tell me how handsome I am, tell me how funny I am. I don't want to hear anything else other than that. I guess you can chirp me, but as long as, it's all in good fun, right? I'm going to screen these, just to be clear. But this is a hotline. It goes straight to a voicemail box that I've set up. If you have an interesting take, I think it's something worth talking about, I will bring it up on the show. I'll play it. you'll get to hear your voice on SLC Puck, the podcast. Won't that be cool? And you'll hear me respond to you. And I think this can be a really fun way to get people in the show. I've announced this on social media. I've already gotten a few calls. I've screened a few of you. I'm not playing you tonight. I'm referring to a couple of Weisenheimers, a couple of my buddies who, you know, give me some chirps here and good fun. But sorry, fellas, you're not getting on the show tonight. But just to give you guys a little teaser of what this looks like. So again, I've got my Google Voice mailbox right here on my phone. You guys call it. It goes in the mailbox. I listen. I screen it. And if I like it, I play it. And so this is it right here. You guys are seeing this in real time. The first ever call. This literally is the first ever call into the SLC Puck hotline. It's from a familiar voice, a familiar name in the Utah Hockey Club podcasting world. And that's also that's the tease you're going to get. And so let's just listen into the first ever call on the SLC Puck hotline.
Austin, this is Clean Hits, Trent. I just want to leave you a quick voicemail and let you know that this idea is absolutely brilliant. I love it. I hate it that I didn't think of it first. You have the bigger brain between the two of us in the podcast world here for the UPHC. Wishing you the best of luck with the voicemail game. I'll be sure to tune in to the podcast to hear the great takes and hot takes and bad takes and everything that you're going to receive on this line. It won't be anything good from me in terms of predictions or great takes. Nonetheless, congratulations on the beautiful year. Congratulations on the Nashcast. So happy to see so many good things happening for SLC Puck.
Yes, thank you. Yes, that was my good friend down in AZ, Clean Hits Trent. I absolutely adore the Clean Hits guys. They are my favorite people from Arizona. I can't name anyone else from Arizona off the top of my head. I'm talking Brad. I'm talking Skeet Heatley. I'm talking Trent. I'm talking Corey. Talking all the fellas that put Clean Hits hockey together. They are the best. I'll just say they're plainly, I think it's glaringly obvious, they're the best Utah Hockey Club podcast. They actually get players on their podcast. You know what I mean? I got Tyson Nash for 5 minutes, and I only got him for 5 minutes because the recording equipment kept screwing up, and I could tell he was like, you know, come on, Austin, get it together. And so, you know, just did a little short thing with Tyson ahead of Nashcast. But again, it was so good to see him, by the way. He looked great. He did shave that mustache because we were getting a lot of complaints about that. People were like, hey, we really want to watch the Nashcast, but the mustache is just a little too distracting. So Tyson dutifully shaved the stash, and he looks great now. Yeah, he had a nice suit on with a yellow tie tonight. So great to see that. The other, you know, let me just ask for your guys' input on this just while I'm thinking about this. I was excited to go to the game. It was kind of a last minute thing. Sammy, who you saw in the last episode, I mean, she's my executive producer. She's also my sister. She texted us and said, hey, I scored us some tickets to the game. We're going. It's like, cool, great, fun. I was a little disappointed, though, because I did want to tune into this game and check out the lab, which was sort of the advanced statistics broadcast that was happening. Nick Olchek, I believe, went all the way out to New York City to do this with some guys who do, I don't know, I can't, off the top of my head, I can't remember the stats program that does, like, you know, miles per hour, distance skated, time on ice, all that, like, really cool inside stuff. It's called the lab. It was very much a very technically driven statistics broadcast. So I was happy I was at the game because that was where I wanted to be. I would have been upset at myself if I had stayed home and watched the lab, but I was a little curious what that was going to sound like and be like. So if you guys checked out the lab, you know, let me know what that was like. You know, drop your reviews in the comments. Again, I have gotten to know Nick a little bit just working on Nashcast. I think he's like very brilliant. I think he's really, really good at what he does, and I think we're pretty damn lucky to have him here. To be honest, I don't see him being with the Utah Hockey Club forever. I think he's got national hockey personality written all over him. And let me just add this too. I was driving home and listening to the post-game show on the radio, and my good friend Adrian Denny, who I've known for a few years, he was formerly the voice of the Utah Grizzlies. he does an awesome job leading the pre and post game shows, and his breakdowns on the radio are really terrific. And Mike Volta, who's the radio voice, is a genius. He's an absolute stud. I say he literally is like a very brilliant guy. I think he has a degree in engineering from Purdue, which is like, ain't small potatoes. And that might not even be an expression. I just kind of made that up. See, I didn't get an engineering degree from Purdue, if you know what I mean. So, I think the broadcasting team is really fabulous, and it's weird they let me have a small role on it. To be total, it hasn't ceased to amaze me that I am involved in such a small way. Again, Nashcast coming up in January. We'll have a few for you. Those dates will be announced. But again, I am excited. I feel really, really good about this team. I think, not to put the horse ahead of the chariot. Again, I don't know. I've got to learn all these colloquial phrases. The cart before the horse. See, I'm figured out. But not to put the cart before the horse. It seems like there's a real possibility that we might be seeing Stanley Cup playoff hockey in Utah. And it's so premature to talk about this. There's 51 games left to play in the season. But if we're to believe, the stat that my buddy Clean Hits Trent said at, Thanksgiving, he's like, it's very important to be in a playoff position at this point because 75% of the teams in the playoff position end up making the postseason. Utah Hockey Club wasn't in that group at that time, but they've sort of vaulted themselves back into that conversation with their recent stretch of play. And they're a team that's gaining a lot of confidence here. And let me just show you some quick quotes here that my guy Ryan Miller threw up on Twitter. And if you're not following Ryan Miller on Twitter, he's my good buddy. He's covering the team on KSL.com. He does an awesome job. He's really doing a huge service for sports fans in Utah because he's also covering the Utah Jazz full time at the same time. So if you see Ryan out and about, give him a pat on the back and say, dude, you're crushing it. He actually is. It was fun I went down to press row during the game and chatted with him for a little bit during one of the intermissions, and he's crushing it. Really, really, really proud of him. But again, here's some quotes from that Ryan gathered post game that I think tell a big story. And let's start with this one here. This is Andre Tourigny, Coach Bear, on the full crowd tonight after Ryan Smith's ticket giveaway. The atmosphere and the reaction of the fans from the first period to the moment Keller scored to when we came back in the game, the overtime. Don't tell me that you didn't have goosebumps. I still feel them. Ooh. And even just reading that, I got a new wave of goosebumps. But here is another quote that I think tells a big story about where this team's mindset is right now. And this is from the hero. This is from Mikhail Sergachev right here. Sergachev said, "We're growing as a group." And I'll just add, I agree. Sergachev continued, "We're a young group, but we can make the playoffs." We can play in the playoffs. We can play against playoff teams, and we show it on a nightly basis. Those are really strong words from Mikhail Sergachev, a guy who's won 2 Stanley Cups with the Tampa Bay Lightning. But he knows what it takes to be a winning team. If he's buying into this, if he believes, and I truly think that he's telling the truth. Those are his actual feelings, what he thinks of his teammates. I think he's been the MVP of this team so far. This team is growing in confidence. They are growing up before our eyes. This has been a very, very fun mid-November, December push right here. And again, let's just go over this, right? So win against Vancouver was huge, followed by road wins on a mentor's trip. And this is in reverse chronological order over the San Jose Sharks. And then before that, the Avalanche. Prior to that, at home, remember there was the 5-4 overtime loss. That was in a shootout to the Minnesota Wild. Before that, again, back-to-back wins on the road, reverse chronological order. Sorry, that's just the way I'm reading it. A win over the Philadelphia Flyers, and then one over the the Buffalo Sabres. Before that, they took the Dallas Stars, who I called the preseason media darlings. They were the Hockey News' preseason Stanley Cup pick. They took them the distance, almost sneaked out a win, played them real tough, but fell in a 2-1 decision. Before that, was a 6-0 win at the Vegas Golden Knights. And prior to that, this is kind of interesting, was a 4-3 overtime loss to the Edmonton Oilers on what was also the same night as Nashcast, the first ever Nashcast. So again, I don't want to understate my involvement in this. I'm not saying I'm as important as Karel Vejmelka. I'm not saying I'm as important as Mikhail Sergachev. I don't matter to the team nearly as much as Clayton Keller. But I can't help but wonder, like, what would be happening if I hadn't motivated Nick Schmaltz the way I did? He wouldn't have gone to that tear, scoring 4 goals in 3 games, as he did almost immediately after I did Big Nick Energy and Schmaltz. I think the fact that they've gone on a torrid stretch since the first ever Nashcast, I think that I'm choosing to think the players went home and heard about what an incredible success the Nashcast was, and that motivated them to have this phenomenal 7-1-2 stretch that they're experiencing right now. So my message to the Utah Hockey Club, my message to the Utah Hockey Club Nation, the Clubbers, as I know you guys like to call yourself, is you're welcome. I'm happy to do this for you guys. I love doing SLC Puck. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to call into the hotline. Give your hot take. We can't just have Clean Hits Trent, calling every other day, all right? It's like enough, Trent, at a certain point, all right? I love hearing from you, but let's get some more people in the mix. So call into the hotline. That number is 919-666-7825. That spells out Puck, by the way. That's why I got that number. 919-666-PUCK. Don't let the 666 scare you. There's nothing demonic about this, as far as I can tell, quite yet. Like, comment, subscribe. SLC Puck. Merch at slcpuck.shop. They're playing the Ducks on Sunday. Quack, quack, quack. We'll talk soon. Thanks, guys.